Okay, here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 60 of Let's Talk Landmark.
Wow,
And
60.
today, we're basically going to be talking about virtual reality and augmented reality and all that other cool stuff that we kind of started a discussion over on my channel earlier today. And we had to put a pause button on Devlin because Devlin was like, we gotta talk about this. I was like, oh, save it for the show. Save it for the show. Okay. And, but definitely, let's introduce everybody. We have Gio over here from the Morning Brew. We have Devlin from the Morning Brew. And we have Katina.
Hello.
From everything.
Executive producer, Morning Brew.
Yes. She's the producer of both shows, actually.
And we are lucky for it.
Yeah. And so basically, to kick everything off as normal, we're going to shout out the newest news type stuff. So the first thing I want to kick out here is Dahara is hosting a Halloween party on Halloween night. Time when this is going to happen, we don't exactly have a time yet, but they're going to get back to us and let us all know, and there will be a posting on the Landmark forums telling when, where, the whole 9 yards. But basically, it is the Haunted Mine Maze. Dahara and Fry Captain has it all linked and triggered up to work off of a timer to tell how long each player takes to make it through the maze. The top 3 fastest runs will win a prize. Dahara has made contact with Emily, and Emily is checking on possible station cash options for the winners, but that is up in the air. Out in the party area, there will be a public timer, a little feature called Claimdar. I don't know. Where you can see lights light up to tell everyone where the player is in the maze or if he falls off. So it should be fun to watch. There is even a death meter that will show how many people have fell down to the pit and died. This is what's been told to me. I don't know the whole story yet, but this is going to be interesting, and I have the feeling I may end up streaming on Halloween night just to show that off. That's got to be freaking awesome. Yeah. The other latest news that we have is tomorrow is the Halloween party, Thursday, October the 29th at 11 a.m. PDT, which is 2 o'clock, I believe.
Yes.
Eastern.
Yep.
And it will be on the Landmark Game Twitch channel.
Yay.
Thank you.
Really?
Yes.
I know. That thing's
Holy crap.
got dust on it. They're going to dust that sucker off.
We have
Official
not had a
post from
show on that
Dexter?
channel since June.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's going to be great. And Rosie Rappaport, Josh Augustine, and Emily Taylor will be the host. They're going to go and check out all the spooky and awesome builds on Halloween Isle. So, but that is the latest news that we have pretty much across everything right now. The next thing is we're going to kick it right straight into the general topic for tonight, which is virtual reality. And let's see. Devlin, explain to us what virtual reality is in your way of understanding it.
Well, boy, what a fantastic question. Virtual reality would be, I guess to understand it properly, you would have to understand what reality is. And reality is everything that we interact with on a day-to-day basis. Everything. the entire fabric of what our universe is. So virtual reality, by definition, would be a all-encompassing virtual world. And by extension, I guess video games are kind of a virtual reality, but we are not immersed into these things. Virtual reality would be the true immersion of people and their technology. So the Matrix, basically.
Okay. Now, this also brings us into AR, which I will let Gio explain.
Well, I really love this AR stuff because you get to overlay anything you can dream of on top of what you see already. And so for me, the applications for this are boundless and endless and could be potentially freaking hilarious. So will more about that later. But my favorite example is the one Microsoft's using right now with Minecraft. They're playing Minecraft in 3D on a little table in front of them. And my kids can't wait for that. Oh my God, they won it like last year. And me too. But that is the tip of the iceberg. If you're an engineer and you're modeling, working on any kind of 3D design, imagine being able to do that right there in front of you on your desktop. I mean, you just see it right there on the table in front of you. You spin it, rotate it, take off the glasses. Of course, you don't see it, but
Basically,
cool
if
stuff.
you've seen the Avengers movies, anything Tony Stark does, AR.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Now, I got some imagery here I'm gonna bring up, and hopefully
Ooh, imagery?
imagery. And let's see if I get this right. Okay. And this is VR as its inception right now. It's hard to kind of picture this, but if you take that and you were wearing a set of glasses, each like piece of glass that's in a set of glasses is what you see here. And with it being overlaid from one side to the other, there's only a slight little difference in between one image and the other, so it gives a 3D presence.
This is what is known as stereoscopic 3D. This
Yes.
works the same way your eye orbits do anyway. It's the same image, just one is slightly different from a slightly different angle than the other, and that gives that image depth.
Exactly. Now, this takes us into AR, which I have an image for that. And this is going to be pretty much right up Geo's little alley here. But basically, when you're looking through into like the open space around you, you could have things kind of follow you around or actually stay in one location as you turn your body around, which is going to be kind of interesting to see how that all plays out and how they've actually got things set up for that.
I would like to see them do something like use an AR display for Cortana.
That'd be cool. All right, now
My basic question though is, how long does it take before you get eye brain fatigue with VR and with AR? I have absolutely no idea.
I don't know. My thing is, how long does it take before you become totally antisocial?
About
Are we already there?
Okay, I've got some other little cutscenes here for us, and that's as we go through the next little section, which is what is on the market right now, and all that kind of good stuff. So, the first one I have to bring up is Sony. Sony has just released information about the PlayStation VR. There's no price set for it as of yet, but estimates range around $500. And of course, it will probably only work with the PlayStation system. Downsides. That would be the big downside to the PlayStation. But let me bring that up right quick. And
The
then
trailer they have is pretty darn neat. It's not, I don't know if you call it a trailer, but they're promo videos.
yeah. So this is the PlayStation VR. The headset looks okay, but the big thing I got a big questionative about that is, the size of it. How much does it weigh? You know,
It looks heavy.
it looks heavy. But that's the first one we can kind of bring up here, and we got some links for that, and there's actually a video that kind of goes along with it. So feel free to post those links. Now, the predecessor to that headset that you're seeing right now was Morpheus.
Yes.
Morpheus is apparently still in development, but this is what they're releasing for the PlayStation now, as far as I understand. So, we'll see. The next one is Oculus, and Oculus has been like, they were probably the ones that really kicked off everything for VR its second go around. Because there was many years ago, back in the 90s, where VR was a big thing, and of course we had a few companies that were trying to develop something out of it, but then everything got crap canned. Just because it was too damn expensive to put it in everybody's house. So
People have to be able to afford it.
yeah, but Oculus basically kicked out, this is basically, what was that, like a Kickstarter fund or something like that, and it really kind of got them going with it. And what we have recent is this. They have teamed up with Samsung and created Gear VR, which turns your Samsung Galaxy Note 4, S6, or S6 Edge smartphone into a portable next-generation virtual reality system. The only limitations is the applications that could actually make use of it.
Yeah.
So you spend all this money for it, and then there's only like maybe 10-20 applications that can actually be used for it. That's the big downside.
Now, Oculus was the one that was bought out by Facebook, wasn't it?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
Now, the predecessor to the Gear VR was the Oculus Rift DK2, which is totally sold out. You can't even get them unless you go to like eBay or something. Now, but apparently Rift, the actual release version, is due to be released in the first quarter of 2016. So it's a big wait and see on that one. The next one is one that a lot of people haven't heard a lot of news about, but I thought it was worthy of putting up here because of one major reason. It apparently has the best graphics for a headset. It outdoes Oculus. It outdoes the PlayStation, Morpheus, the whole 9 yards, and that is HTC's Vive.
Love their products.
And they have teamed up with Valve Steam, or everybody knows Steam. But they've teamed up with Steam to release out something for it. We'll see. And feel free to, there you go. Thanks. But that covers all of the virtual reality stuff that's really, I guess, head of the market right now. The big three. What was the other one? Oh, no, that was in the next section. The next part is the augmented reality, which we have the Microsoft HoloLens. And the HoloLens apparently is... it would be like a development kit now, right?
The HoloLens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's under development kit. So they're charging $3,000 for this thing right now. I looked it up on their website. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? $3,000?
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. So you can
extreme.
imagine, if they chop this down, it's still going to cost you about $600 to $700 to get a set of them when they come out. And then on top of that one, we have one that has basically, I guess, lost its push, which would be Google's
Google Glass.
Yeah, Google Glass, which is more of a single eye augmented reality, if I remember correctly, or something.
Yeah, and then they put it into glasses, so it was everything, and it fell by the wayside.
Yep. So we haven't heard much going on with that. Now, with this new kickoff of virtual reality and all these different headsets and stuff that has been coming out, there is a lot of game companies that are doing major financial sinks into applications and stuff that can make use of these different systems. I don't know. It's a risk. It is definitely a risk, because all of a sudden, say all these companies say, hey, it's not worth it for us to do it. It's costing us too much money or something.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft has canned lots of tech they've developed in the past. It's
I don't think it's so much along the lines of canning it because it's not worthwhile. It's the technology is changing too fast for most companies to keep up with the financial investment.
This is true, and this is one of the reasons why they're going to keep on going for it, because this is something that people have been trying to achieve for, 40 years at this point? So people are not going to give up on this. It may take a back burner for like 20 years like it did back in the 90s, but they're going to keep coming back to this until we get it done right. Yeah. Everybody wants something like this for their own reasons.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know what my reason would be. Never mind.
Oh, God.
All right. So,
virtual fishing.
Now, with that, and no, it had nothing to do with that. I know y'all out there in TV land or
don't worry, I got you, dude.
Leaving us right here in Skype.
Time travel would be my thing. Being able to go back and see.
Yeah, imagine being able to go to an Elvis Presley concert.
Yep.
Even if Elvis isn't your thing, cool. But don't tell me it wouldn't be interesting to do.
Mm-hmm. And
I'd love to.
With the implementation of the system that basically can record a person's face in total 360 nowadays. I mean, people start saving their face for posterity or something. Actors and stuff.
I gotta say that there's a lot of faces I don't want to see in 360.
Okay, I gotta say, Zaxita said Tuma wants to pet a goat in VR, and Ventera said pet. That's a light word for it.
Oh, nice, guys. Thanks a lot.
Well, you're about to ask why I'm laughing. I know you.
Okay.
It's their fault.
I'm going to bring this up because this is something that I've been kind of hanging out with some of the guys from Epic here recently, and basically this was something that was said by the founder of Epic Games, Tim Sweeney. HMD, head-mounted displays quality, will almost double each year for the first 5 years.
I believe it.
What we have now, and then you step forward in 5 years, the quality is just going to go exponential.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in my eyes, it would be best just to wait another 5 years.
Yeah, but they need to get from here to there. They have to do it to advance the technology that much.
Yeah, well...
That goes back to what I was saying, the financial investment, only certain companies can do it.
Now, apparently, Epic Games they're diving hard into that. And their Unreal Engine already has the capacity to be able to integrate with Oculus.
Nice.
Yeah, it does.
And some of those other VR systems. Now, I'm wondering if they're actually going to set up standards so that each system will be able to connect to the same game systems. There has to be some way of doing that, or then all of a sudden you have this branch off where, okay, well, you can only play this game if you have this system.
Mm-hmm.
And that closes doors left and right.
Exclusives always create more issues than what they actually solve, despite what you might read in the gaming press. But you're going to need to have some kind of some kind of gimmick that makes each one of these things special and unique to the other one. It doesn't matter what it is, because the truth is, once people get these things on, they're going to be hard pressed to take them off unless they just don't like the experience.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, the old CRT days, you know, if you don't know what I'm talking about these big ass monitors that used to be on people's desks, and then all of a sudden, magic happened, and they were like, "Hey, we can make stuff that is this thin instead," and all of a sudden,
those things weigh like 60 pounds with a 13-inch screen.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, and they had a glass tube, you know, the whole 9 yards, and they harmful to the environment and all sort of kind of mess. And then all of a sudden they switched over to the LCD, and then from the LCD they've got the newer ones that are coming out, which is OLCD, which is the organic, which apparently you can take and roll up into like flat. And
that'd be cool.
So you want to talk about ancient technology for a second?
Sure.
You know what this is?
Hold up. Turn it around. That is the disk out of a hard drive
from a server
from 1991 or 92.
Back it up by about 10 years.
Okay, I was close.
Yep.
I was at least close, though.
Wow.
These things basically acted like floppy disks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
These were the hard drives to those giant computers that took up warehouses, the things the size of refrigerators. They ran on these.
Mm-hmm.
And in how many years? 30 years? Now we have cell phones.
No,
okay.
I got one better for you.
Say what?
Let me pull it out. 32 gigabyte flash drive that holds more data than that disk. It would take a stack like this high of those disks to fit what you can have on
a solar powered
drive
calculator
now.
has more power in it than this thing does.
Yep.
Okay, the computer that sent the first manned mission to the moon that landed there was less powerful than a kid's calculator.
Yep.
It's hard to imagine.
They could have done it by hand. Okay.
It's great stuff. I mean, so, you know, technology's getting better, and even if it doesn't actually happen now, you know, VR, I definitely see it happening within the next 10 years. I do. Mm-hmm. And actually make it where everybody could have one, you know. And
yeah, it's happening now.
Yeah.
So do you guys think that the advent of Twitch and the Twitch, this Twitch generation we've got is going to accelerate the development of these products dramatically?
Yes, absolutely yes, and I can tell you why. People always were under the impression that Twitch or things like Twitch or what it used to be Justin TV wouldn't actually work, because who's going to sit around and watch people play video games? Well, the same kind of people who sit around and watch other people play football. I mean, people like to be entertained. Mm-hmm. Now, imagine instead of just watching it on your computer screen, you can put on a VR headset and then experience the game from the game's perspective being controlled by another person. The ultimate movie experience. Mm-hmm. Of course, something like Twitch is going to push the development of something like that.
You bring up a good point here. Totally immersive movies where you could be...
Wow.
Why not?
Duck out of the way of the gun, under the plant. Oh, man.
Totally immersive movies. I mean, can you imagine being able to, you know, something's happening and you just follow the guy around the whole entire time?
That would be
2 words. Bond girl.
You know, they turn around and look at you. Hey, we've got to go through this door or something, you know? and you just follow them around through, and that's the movie. I mean, you're like his sidekick, or you're like Batman's sidekick, and you just follow Batman around while he beat people's butts.
Yeah, like Tron. Right into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tron.
Now, If you haven't seen the video that Epic Games put out, it's called The Kite.
Yes. Oh, you
Look
linked
it
that
up.
to me that day. That was
Do you have a link
amazing.
to it?
I don't have
I
it off
will.
the top of my head. Yeah, Katina's good with the Google thing, but it's called like The Kite or something
Who
like
put it
that.
out? Tell
And
me
you
again.
basically are following this little kid
Epic.
around, and the little kid is chasing this kite, and it immerses you all through this world. That whole entire video clip was done inside of Unreal Engine 4. The whole movie, the whole little video thing. So I don't see why it couldn't be possible, you to be able to immerse somebody in that fashion.
No, it wouldn't be. You can do something like that, and you can even go a little bit farther with it, because then all you're really doing is merging the idea of a game server where people like all of us play communally all together, and then just add in the VR stuff into it, and then we could all, in theory, go into Landmark, build a studio for us to do this show, do the
Okay.
show from the game as our avatars, and have people who are watching come in,
And be in the
and
audience right there.
be in the audience, and take part right there.
That would be
And
amazing.
Shatari's said he has used NVIDIA 3D for years for games and building in Landmark. 3D in Landmark makes you feel like you're in Tony Stark's lab. VR headset would make building in Landmark cool beyond words.
Yeah.
I have that same exact system that he has, the NVIDIA 3D, and you have to have a 128-bit monitor to run the thing. It's crazy. It's but you've seen the people that has like the triple screen monitors, and they can play across all three screens while they're like running around in Battlefield or Call of Duty or something like that, so they can have the peripheral visions and stuff like that. VR makes that look like crap. Because you can do this,
Yeah, I love Dave's description of playing Elite Dangerous.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The plane, your opponent goes flying past you, and you're like doing this to go see.
Yeah. Okay, so next little thing I got here is the connection of virtual reality systems to the portables, which is kind of like the one system that that Oculus has put out, which is the Gear VR. I mean, making things like totally portable in that fashion. I mean, being able to, have like your little tablet or your smartphone or something like that, and put on your headgear. You just kind of doing your thing, and people have no clue what the heck you're doing, but it looks funny to them because you're sitting in a chair doing like this. You're looking weird, just like them people with the Bluetooth things in their ears, and they're talking to themselves.
Yep.
Then people, I laugh at those people. I'm like, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Just, you're kind of like, they're standing next to you and you're talking. I'm like,
I like the ones in their car because my car's got Bluetooth. So I'm sitting there talking to my car, and there's not another person in there with me.
yeah. I find that funny as hell. But, when it comes down to portables and stuff like that, I see that's going to be.
Come on, you got a BlackBerry. What
Hey,
would you know about using that?
oh.
You got to admit it was right for the getting.
Yeah.
Where'd it go?
I don't know. He ran away.
Yeah, we're talking smack.
Yeah, nothing
Alright.
new.
I have an Asus.
Okay.
Is that a purse?
No, it's a tablet
Okay. That's good.
with a keyboard.
Okay.
So,
I have a
yeah.
tablet over there. I've got a phone over here. I've got a
Exactly.
laptop down there.
So just because I got a BlackBerry does not mean that I'm like totally out of the loop on some things. I do have a tablet, but wow, we are right on time. Holy crap! Look at that. We are smack on time.
Your first time mark said 7:37 to start this. I looked at the clock. It was 7:37.
You know how it is. Okay. Now it kind of goes into the pros and cons of the virtual reality system, and I'm going to let Katina start this one off.
No.
Oh my God!
All right.
Never ends.
Nice try.
I tried, guys. Which is size matters. If you've noticed, most of these systems, I mean, they're like coming off of your face like this. I mean, they're freaking massive, and you can just kind of imagine taking a baseball cap and then putting like a weight on the end of it, how it's going to like pull down on your face no matter what you do.
Some of that has to do with the way our eyes work. The screen has to be a certain distance away for it to actually register properly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it may be light. It just looks cumbersome and heavy. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I've never actually seen one.
But I mean, a pound is still a lot of weight on your head.
Mm-hmm. And that one we saw only had the band around it, had nothing over the top to help support.
Let's bring that back up. And I didn't even show off all these pictures. This is the PlayStation. The PlayStation VR. We have this is the Samsung Gear VR, which is your actual phone goes inside of it, and then there's a thing that snaps on the front of it to keep the light out. And then we have the HTC Vive, which to me, honestly, if I was going to buy one, it would be this one, just because it's awesome. It looks, I don't know. I can see me putting a helmet on. I'd put a helmet on, and then walk around, and everybody think I'm like from the future or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we have the Microsoft AR, which is the augmented reality glasses. And I forgot to bring these up while we were talking about it, but these actually look really cool. The Microsoft HoloLens thing, but there's parts of the AR that really bother me. As a whole, I could see like the future of it. Where you're walking around, you're wearing these glasses, and I kind of look over at somebody, it sees their face, and then all of a sudden it pulls up like their whole entire police record or something.
Yeah, that's invasive.
Well, yeah, it's invasive, but that's the way everything is moving right now. I mean, it sucks, but society itself is actually dictating where this is going. People want more interconnectivity. People want it to be more readily available. With something like Google Glass, like if I look up at any of you, just randomly out there on the street, it's not inconceivable to think that it's going to pull up all of your social media, anything that's tied to your identity and to your account. That kind of thing, that's what they're aiming for. That's what the functionality is of it.
Well, I don't like that at all.
I don't like it either, but that's the way it's going.
I mean, people want anything is the developers, pushing it. That's the way it looks to me. If that kind of functionality is actually out there, or they actually push that sort of thing, it would be more on the development side of it, pushing. Hey, we've got this cool thing. You can look at anybody and find out all you want to know: how much they make, where they live, what their phone number is.
Mm-hmm.
And all that kind of mess. I know.
You already got that now, man.
Well, yeah, but...
You can turn it off to a degree now. When you get something like that, it's far too invasive, and it's time for me to get off the grid and move into the woods.
Yep, that'd be me.
And that's your call. That is absolutely your call. I might join you, but I mean, it's just... It's the way it's heading. It's the direction that it's moving. There's nothing we can do about that.
All right, so... That kind of got off of our subject matter, which was size, but...
Well, you moved into one of the cons.
The next size. But I think we almost kind of covered some of this next one, which was correct focusing, and Devlin kind of went over that with the distance away from your eyes, so that your eyes can actually focus on the image that is in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and one of the biggest issues that people have had with like the Oculus or any of these VR systems is the simple fact of after a few minutes, if it's your first attempt at using the thing, you take the things off and you want to vomit. Because it's like, you're moving around and you don't know if you're going to hit something or anything. So there's a part of your head that's going, hey, I'm still in my room. And then there's the other part of you that thinks you're in, like, I don't know, Rome or something.
Yeah. Your senses say you're moving, but
Yeah.
your actual physical body says, I'm holding still. And they don't talk to each other very well at that point.
Yeah. And I don't know, that's something that would, it would take me a little bit to get used to it. It's just like the NVIDIA 3D, if you didn't have those things calibrated, if you don't get them calibrated correctly, your head hurts, your eyes hurt, and you almost, like, you have to take them off because after a while, it'll get to you. And I got the feeling that most VR systems are going to be the same way. At least
Well, until we acclimate ourselves to it, and there's always going to be a little bit of risk involved and a little bit of safety precautions that you need to do. I mean, it's unhealthy for people to play video games the way they do, 12, 13, 14 hours a day, sitting almost completely still, not doing anything with it. It's up to us, the people doing it, to make sure that we take care of ourselves.
Well,
Get up, move around.
I mean, you go to an eye doctor or something, he puts that thing up there and it starts, figuring out like what it is the perfect lenses for you to be wearing.
Yeah, the last time I got behind one of those things, I screwed with it so bad.
Yeah, I mean, you could sit there, hold your breath, and like just build up pressure in your sinuses and stuff like that, and make your eyes like change shape.
No, his eyes don't dilate.
That's right.
Oh yeah, that's right. But I mean, the way those systems work now, I mean, they can figure out exactly what type of lens that you need to actually be wearing. Eventually, they're going to have it where the headsets figures it out for you and adjust everything so that it's perfect for your eyes.
Think
That
bigger,
would be
man.
very cool.
Eventually, with how technology is always getting more powerful and smaller, it's not inconceivable to think that you're going to be able to get something like contact lenses that you can put in. Just boom, disposable contact lenses that have all of this tech already built right into it.
It's the future,
It's a
guys.
possibility.
You got to wonder if that's already over in DARPA somewhere.
Yeah, and our next little subject thing here is spatial awareness, and that's basically knowing where you're at when you're actually there. With a totally immersive VR system, you not only see things through your eyes, you're also hearing things from a headset. The temperature in the room. They have systems where it can change the temperature. That sort of thing. And then, of course, I bring this up on Legendary Neurotoxins show with H1Z1. I said that would be kind of awesome with a VR system and smell-o-vision. H1Z1 zombies, stinky. I thought it was funny. But, when you implement all these different systems to actually produce tactile responses from the player or the person that's using the thing, that to me is immersive. You've got to totally immerse the person into actually believing that they're there or feeling that they're there. And I'd love to have something like that for like an MMO of some sort. Freaking awesome.
There'd be so many ways to experience a game more than there are already. And then to be able to share that, to share what you're experiencing, by streaming it on something like Twitch, I think is going to open up a whole new realm of entertainment that is going to be fascinating. Stuff we just haven't even dreamt of yet. And I think it's going to come sooner than we imagine.
Yeah, just something about, me wearing an Oculus and they could see what I'm seeing on the screen, and then there's a little picture of me from my webcam.
That would be the best part of the show.
That would certainly break the illusion pretty damn quick.
It would be funny as crap to me. I'd watch it.
Watch you bumping into walls and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so the first person to step off a flight of stairs while they got the Oculus on, it's going to make the news.
Well,
they break their neck, and
there's a solution for that in the omnidirectional treadmill.
Yeah. I've seen that, where it has like the rail around it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep,
And
just stand inside of that thing.
No.
That way you don't actually go anywhere.
Let me cut to this cutscene here. There's was it this one? If you notice these little controllers, and almost every system has some type of like controller system here, which these are awesome because if it's been programmed correctly, then you're actually holding a sword in the game, or like it looks like she's holding a bow, and she's like pulling the string there or something. Different things they could do with the actual system would be kind of interesting.
Just imagine if they managed to fix motion capture into it as well. Like motion capture for facial capture, all those little dots. Imagine just put like one on your hand, one on your elbow, and then put this thing on. It captures everything that you're doing. And then integrate with something like into Landmark, where our characters are always kind of stretching and pulling things around. Imagine being able to build a tower by literally just raising it up out of the ground like that.
That'd be kind of cool, actually. And this takes us into to the next little section, which will take us up for the next 10 minutes here, which is educational purposes. World immersion.
Could not be a better application for VR ever.
Yep. I'd love to see this in schools for history class and any classes.
I'm pretty sure.
Mass produce these things. Give one to everybody. That way, if you want to take a lecture on something, you just flick it on to the right channel, and boom, you're in that classroom.
Yep.
Simple as that.
I mean, you take a company that like a AAA company that has like a section of their company that does nothing but educational stuff, and they dive into history. They create armor and all that other kind of stuff that is historically correct for the whole entire thing. You rebuild Rome, and then implement it with the Oculus system, and it goes out to the schools, and these kids can walk around and see like the Roman gladiators and all that kind of stuff, the different battle scenes or something. I mean, this is something perfect for a game company to do. Of course, it would be down to the schools to be able to purchase the darn thing, but hey, it would be freaking awesome.
Imagine if you want to be able to be a pilot, for example. Well, you need to be able to maintain your aircraft, right? And pilot schools are really expensive, but
just get in your car, put it on, and
no.
Oh wait, no, that's not.
No,
that's not.
But just put it on in your living room, and right on your coffee table, you have a basically hologram or an interactive hologram of an airplane engine that you can take apart layer by layer. You can explode it out. You can figure out things that are wrong with it by just interacting with virtual parts.
This actually brings an interesting history thing here, and I'm big on watching documentaries and stuff like that anyway. But it was back during, I think it was like World War I, World War II. No, it was World War I, actually. They were trying to train pilots to be able to fly planes, and you got to remember back then it was like a stick, and being able to fly a plane and make it go in the right direction at the right time and all that other kind of stuff. Well, there was this inventor who said, hey, I can make something that can make the training of these people so we don't lose planes to people that don't know how to fly yet. So it makes the first model of a simulator back during World War One.
Yeah.
And it worked. He was able to teach somebody how to actually fly a plane.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't catch on with the government. And the government said, no, it's not going to work. So he ended up selling it. You remember those little things that used to be outside of like department stores where people
Little
rode
racks.
in it and it did like this? That's what it turned into. He ended
Well-
up getting a patent to sell the thing as something else. And it was later on they figured it out, and hey, it actually does work. And then the government actually bought,
Yeah,
several
now
copies
everybody's
of it.
on a simulator.
I thought
Yeah,
it was kind of interesting. Yeah.
My junior high had 2 fully immersive flight simulators.
Wow.
2. And I'm still the only person on this planet to this day who's managed to land the space shuttle backwards.
I can't say I've actually landed the space shuttle in its alternate landing location. If anybody knows where that is,
But did you do it backwards?
I didn't do it backwards.
Then
but
you
I
are
did land
beneath.
it. I did land a 747 at the the Newbern Regional Airport one time.
Like for real?
Yeah,
Like a real plane?
no, in a simulator.
Oh, okay, all right.
All the space shuttle landing fields were all originally designed for the B-36 bomber, which was the one that was replacing the B-29. That thing was so large and so heavy, and of course it was only around for a couple of years, and they turned every one of those airfields into airfields for the shuttles.
But the alternate landing zone for the space shuttle is actually Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in North Carolina. It is one of the alternates. That's the one I was talking about. So, yeah. Okay. The next little section here is for disabilities. Being able to use virtual reality for disabilities. You take somebody who can't walk, and all of a sudden he has the ability to walk again.
Yep.
On his own inside of a video game. So, there's a lot of people that do that right now. I mean, they play MMOs because they can get out there and they can run. But you also take that to the next level and you take it into VR. And they're able to get out there and, really experience what it's like to walk again.
Not just that, but take it another step even beyond that. Take it into something like what Second Life does, like a online virtual world where it's a social interaction thing. Mm-hmm. And imagine if you have, and this is going to be kind of bad to go into, but this is true, unfortunately, some kind of horrible disfigurement. Mm-hmm. That literally stops you from interacting with society on a day-to-day basis. People like that exist. They wouldn't exist like that anymore. They would just be whatever avatar they create.
Just wait until you've seen was it iRobot?
Yep.
You remember like the robots that can walk around on their own. What if you got robots like that are actually controlled by real people through VR that may be disabled? They can get around, walk around, they can do all their things. It seems far-fetched, but hell, we don't know. 30 years from now, that might be possible.
People that have disabilities that prevent them from moving their hands and fingers, they could, as long as they know how to do it up here, and we have the technology to integrate thought waves and nerve responses into whatever it is we're talking about, somebody who has no hand at all could learn how to do surgery. Mm-hmm. As long as you know what's going on, as long as you can fire the synapses up here. That's all this is. That's all you do whenever you move.
Mm-hmm.
I'm missing what is Katina talking about?
I have no idea.
Oh, Delphina thought there was a lag in the chat. I said it all depends how you have it scrolled on your screen. That's all.
Atmospheric said in Spain, iRobot was called Yo Robot.
Yeah, there's still a 30-second delay between chat and what we're saying here, so it's normal. Okay, um, let's see what other like disabilities can we can really like point out other than but yeah, I mean you hit on a really big one there. Disfigurements. Being stuck in a wheelchair. Um, it can be used for all different kinds of stuff. Once it actually gets fully implemented.
Mm-hmm.
At this point right now, it's still a pipe dream, but it's still something that can possibly be done. Like long term. And 1000 Stars says VR can be the bridge for the disabled to experience social situations and shop in a VR store for stuff. Get it delivered to their house. Play any games or work any programs. It's a great equalizer. Very
It
true.
is.
Yes.
Now,
I can't wait to see that be almost its primary use.
now, take that in conjunction with voice recognition software. Voice recognition software actually works better. Actually works for those who have verbal impairments
Mm-hmm.
because it catches just repetitious type stuff, and so they'd be able to actually, use the voice recognition software and then it re-say whatever was actually being said.
Yeah, because it learns what they're saying.
Yeah, and you take that in conjunction with VR and blah blah blah, and then you actually have something that's feasible.
And the weird thing about all this that we're talking about right now, if anybody out there is not quite up to speed with all this stuff, everything that we're talking about is existing technology.
Mm-hmm. For the most part,
This
yeah.
is just integrating it in different ways. We're not even going into like weird future holodeck crap yet. I mean, this is all stuff that could feasibly be done today.
Yeah, it's there right now.
So now
Yeah.
we're going to talk about holodecks. Yeah, it'd be freaking awesome. I'd love to have a holodeck.
Oh, God,
Something
yes.
something like they had on Next Generation, where you could just say France 1920s or something.
Originally, whenever I first got into Landmark, Landmark was half of the big equation that I have been working on in my gaming life. Because the last really big holy crap thing that happened in gaming was 3D, and that was in the early 90s. It took us a little while to get everything up to par with it, but now it's just been making it shinier and shinier and better. The next big jump is going to be that virtual reality thing where we can bend reality to our will, and we can almost do something like that in Landmark right now with building things with voxel technology. Now, with VR, that's the other half of what we're talking about here. That's the other half of the true immersion about it.
Now there was a movie many years ago. I think it was called like Machine or something like that. Um, I wish I could remember it, but basically you had this guy who basically was like running around and like all into this world and was immersed and all this other kind of stuff, but he didn't even know it because that everything he had ever known was always inside the VR.
Yeah.
And basically from birth he was plugged in, and basically had caretakers that came around and took care of him sitting on a table or something. And one day he just broke out of the system and then didn't know where the heck he was.
But something like that,
kind of weird.
I don't know if anything like that could ever really happen, but I mean, I've had conversations like this with people before where they go, yeah, but who would want to be plugged in for that long for something like that? Who wouldn't? I mean, this is a world that you can create anything you want to create. You can do anything you want to do. That's why you all play video games, because you are sick and tired of the real world.
Mm-hmm.
We won't need it anymore.
And Likes to See said about having to wake up from VR being disabled. Now, as I don't know. That's kind of a touchy situation. You know, now you would almost think that going in, they already knew they were disabled.
Well, ecstasy is disabled.
Yeah. But you know, to get around being able to do things, would kind of help. At least I think. At least you'd be able to have that mobility.
I think it would be a person-to-person thing, just the same way video games are. Video games are not completely inherently evil, despite what Fox News wants you to believe. And
hey, now.
What?
I like my Fox News.
It's not real news. You know that.
FAUX, it's how it's spelled. Anyway, regardless of that, though, people like to blame video games on people's behavior, and that is exactly wrong. Now, will video games influence people if they have certain emotional or mental disabilities? Yes, they will. Are video games inherently the result of something that's bad that happens? No. Now, similarly with VR, I would argue, now we don't know because, I mean, nobody has really played around with it this much yet, but I would argue that it would be dependent on the person who's actually getting into the pod or whatever it is that you're talking about. Because then if somebody who has a strong enough understanding about what they're doing is indeed a virtual reality, they may miss it, of course, but they can still come back and not have any kind of residual side effects of something like that. Now, somebody who has a little bit of a weaker will behind them, or somebody that has some issues mentally or emotionally where they can't let go of that, then yeah, you would need to watch them. But people like that need to be watched for video games and movies and books, and people like that need to be watched to begin with anyway.
Very true. All right, we're coming up on our hard stop here, so let's go ahead and do a roundabout.
Yeah.
Gio, what have you got going this week?
Morning brew. Morning brew. And trying, and geez, I got to finish my Halloween build tonight.
All right, Kadena.
Working on my Hallis house that you do know exists. It's actually
exist.
a barn.
I'll have to say it does exist. I officially admit it. Devlin, what have you got going on this week?
Same thing as I always do.
Same bad channel. Yeah. Same bad time.
I got real quick before we wrap though.
Funny thing about that, watch my Twitter.
I did. I've been watching.
Okay, all right.
In 2000, I was a guest instructor over at the National War College here in DC, and I did a class on virtual reality presentation. And so asking everybody that was there what they thought the number one application would be for VR, turns out it's almost unanimous that they thought the most important application was going to be for medical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine teaching somebody surgery without the need of having to, make sure they don't end up killing the victim.
I got one better than that.
All right.
Okay, there's already a robot set up. It's like this. I'm halfway across the world. I'm on vacation.
And you manipulate the robot.
I put on my headset, I put in my hand gears, and I go, okay, dive in. And I do the surgery from the other side of the world.
And yeah, these are the kind of things they were thinking of back in 2000. So I'm curious to see where all the VR and AR tech that we've got now is going to lead to in the medical field. I think that's probably going to be one of the biggest applications. And speaking about looking for funding, a lot of it might come from those universities.
And Kodiak said the biggest money will come from sex. All right, let's move on.
You're nutting.
Have a great one, guys. Thanks for coming and joining us as always. And definitely stay tuned for the next episode of Let's Talk Landmark on Monday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And yeah, it's going to be great. Halloween's this weekend. Definitely stay tuned on the Landmark forums to find out the exact time and location.
I'll be traveling on Monday, so we will not be able to do a Monday 1:30 show because I won't be home until I'll miss that window.
He schedules things really, really badly.
Yeah, talk to the missus.
Have a great one, guys. And
that's right, the Halloween getaway. See you later, folks.
Waiting. I'm waiting.
Go build something.